Welcome back, everybody. This video, we're just going to jump right into working on the spray booth. The first part, I'm basically just laying out the holes for the filters to sit in. I just basically traced them, tried to center them the best I could, and then came back and drew out the lines that I needed to cut along. The most important thing was to have a good sharp blade in the knife. Made cutting it really easy. I took my time, did multiple passes, tried not to force it. The cardboard was in pretty good shape other than for where my cats ripped at it, so it was pretty simple to work with. The back of the box ended up being a lot weaker than I was expecting, and it took a few minutes of thinking about it, but the decision was made pretty quick that I needed to take some of the leftover cardboard after I had done the initial taping on the back and create supports to give it a little more rigidity and strength. As you can tell, I spared no expense. I just layered the duct tape on really thick, trying to get every little crack, rip, tear sealed up and ready to go. Here's where I'm just taking some of the extra cardboard and cutting out the right size pieces that I needed to be able to put in along the back where the two flaps didn't quite meet up. Once I had them in place, I trimmed them up so that they matched the very back of the box. Just took a couple extra minutes, but the benefit and the rigidity that it added to it was huge. I tried very hard to seal all the extra little cracks even between the layers of cardboard because I want all the air to go through the filters. I was afraid that even if I left a few of those pieces in between open, that it would reduce the airflow. So once again, a little extra duct tape, a little extra time, and I think it made a world of difference. Here I'm starting on the vacuum chamber, and I quickly measured and matched it up to the spray booth part of it. I'm just marking it out so I can cut it out evenly. That way when it was centered, I knew I would always have lots of cardboard to reach the edges. Originally I was going to angle it in, but I decided I really probably didn't need to do that, because as long as it covered the back of the filters, it should be good. And I took my time. I measured it multiple times, tried to get it as centered as I possibly could before I started laying the duct tape in. As you can see, several times during this project, I had my quality inspector show up. Elfie's the orange cat. He made sure that everything was acceptable to him. Some of my cuts weren't perfect the first time, so I had to go along and trim it really quick with the X-Acto knife, but you know, the duct tape hid most of those rough cuts pretty well. I'll have to apologize because a lot of the footage really is just my ass in baggy sweatpants. I'm still trying to get used to filming, and sometimes when I'm working on a project, I forget where the camera is. There was the second quality inspector. He just popped in, Nucky. He wanted to make sure that everything Elfie was seeing was accurate. And like I said, I just kept laying the duct tape on anywhere where there was a crack or a split. I generally went with 3 pieces, one on either side and then one down the middle. Mounting the fan was really easy. I just held it up, drew a line around it, and then cut the hole out to match. There is a mounting bracket for that fan, so once I know exactly where it's going to be sitting, I can mount it to the wall so it's held in place very well, and I don't have to worry about it falling down, hitting the glass tabletop. That would be really good. This is the part where I'm really thinking about how I'm going to hold the filters in. And it didn't take me very long to realize that I was just overthinking it And really, all I needed to do was use the duct tape to hold them in place and then seal it around the edges. The amount of times I'll probably have to change these air filters, I can easily just cut the duct tape, put the new air filters in, and then just reapply more duct tape down the road in the future. Well, everybody, we're going to end this video there. This project has been a lot of fun to do. I've enjoyed it a lot. The problem was I was overthinking things a little bit too much, and I needed to keep it simpler. I wanted to come up with a very elaborate way to hold the filters in place. And really, for what I'm using and what I'm making it to be, I really didn't need something like that. So just a good length of duct tape slapped in over along the edge of the filters was perfect. Okay, we're just going to take a minute to show you where it's at and how it's looking. As you can tell, I used as much of the original cardboard box as I possibly could. And I went all out on the expensive hardware. A couple extra pieces of duct tape really elevated the cost of the project. But I think it was worth it in the end. Just keeping it simple. The amount that this thing is going to get used just didn't justify a lot of excess expense. There we go. So it's just really simple. It's a cardboard box with 2 filters in the back of it. The second box in the back, the vacuum chamber, all it really had to be was sealed so that all the air that the fan pulls out of the spray booth has to pass through the filters. One of the things I did learn when researching how to do this was that you don't need huge amounts of airflow. You want a nice, steady, even airflow to pull the fumes and the overspray through the filters. If you make it too powerful, it can actually affect the quality of the paint job that you get on whatever you're working. So by going with the 2 filters in the bigger vacuum box, I was able to make the most out of the usage on the fan that I chose. It's the simplest fan you can find for an inline duct. The nice thing about it, as I pointed out at the beginning, is that it has a variable speed control. So I can crank it up to full. And as you can tell, the noise level is very reasonable. It's comfortable to still work in the room. I don't need earplugs to deal with it. And I can turn it down a little bit if I have to. But the biggest thing is it provides just the right amount of airflow in the booth area to ensure that anything within the area is pulled gently through the filters. So a really simple project, something, like I said, that I had fun doing. It was like being a little kid building a cardboard fort. But this has a practical purpose to it. So I'm hoping in the next few weeks or days, we'll see what I have time for, is to make a new box for the window for the outlet of the vent and make it something that I can remove so I can just close the window to seal it up and keep the weather out, the cold, but duct all the stinky fumes from spray paint out of the basement and out of the house, because I don't think the girls are going to appreciate it if I gas them out again in the house. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Please give us a subscribe, give us a like if you liked it, give us a dislike if you didn't, and leave a comment. Continue to help me grow as a content provider. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next video.